The opening line is, "Every day I get to wake up in the best place on earth, Michigan." And from there, you know something's really wrong.
This is really super tonight, Nance. Did you do something different?
Brown mustard instead of yellow. I felt like doing something a little crazy.
Just a PSA for everybody that still seems to be confused about this. Nicole Kidman doesn't star in good films. I'm not saying she's a bad actor. I think she's a really good actor, but she hasn't starred in a good film since... When did the first Paddington come out? Yeah, she just kind of, as a character, any character, seems to suck all the comedy out of a room, and she really needs to stay in, like, dry, drab thrillers and films where she masturbates. Why have I seen this woman masturbate so many times on my screen this year? I don't... And I think that this is a thriller, the kind that she needs, but is it really? Holland feels from the opening few minutes like Hallmark really wanted to make WandaVision. Yeah, the entire somehow I suddenly got here and we have a kid and perfect life, but something is just incredibly off about the vibe. We've seen this thing in various versions, even starring Nicole Kidman in the past. She did a film like 10 years ago with Colin Firth called Before I Go to Sleep. Woman can't trust her husband, stuck in a weird house. Doesn't matter. We've seen it done a lot of times before, and a lot of times it's been better than this, so I'm kind of left feeling disappointed and very confused about what the vibe wanted to be here, because it feels like they're trying to emulate the Coen Brothers, but without the Coen Brothers, and also the Coen Brothers haven't made a good film in I don't know how long, longer than Nicole Kidman, which means that they're really not the people to emulate for modern style. I don't know. I think Nicole Kidman must be blatantly refusing any contracts for films that have her in a happy marriage, because, yeah, so many unhappy ones. This film is just kind of a mess. It doesn't really seem to know what it wants to be. It oscillates very quickly between being a thriller, a steamy romance, and a kind of weird, quirky, Coen Brothers style comedic heist. Not heist, but at times a little bit of a heist type thing. And it's never very good at being any of those things, but I do wish it would just dump this weird style and vibe, because even a drab, slow thriller would have been much better than this, and Nicole Kidman trying to fit in with this style when she just doesn't was very weird, because there's nothing really comedic about it as a film, and yet it has got this like quirky thing to it, where it's almost trying to be, I can't explain by calling it anything else than a Coen Brothers film, because that's the only people that have tried and kind of gotten this right, and also gotten it wrong, and this is it, but wrong. The irony is that I do feel like there's about 3 separate films in here, and they're trying to cram all of those into under 2 hours, and yet it still feels slow, like there's not a lot going on, despite trying to fit all of that in, which is very upsetting. They just don't seem to have anything to say. None of the characters are remotely funny, but also it's never actually scary. The thrills aren't that thrilling. I'm not saying it's a really terrible film. Nicole Kidman is very good. It's just that they're trying to, like, fit her as a triangle into a square-shaped hole with this character. It's not right. It just feels obvious from early in the film what's going on, but with all these little extra bits that are almost like red herrings that they're trying to throw in. So I was like going, oh, okay, so this is what's happening, and I guess it'll explain why they've done that and that later, and it just doesn't. So it takes a long time getting to the point, and then when it does, it just feels like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought, but, this and this, but... So it just doesn't end up making a lot of sense. It's just quite upsetting. I don't know that Nicole Kidman could necessarily teach a masterclass in acting, but she could teach anyone in the world to be very proficient at just suspiciously looking through your husband's things. I feel like Nicole Kidman must have made some bad financial decisions at some point to have to be still working this much, like she is in so much recently, and in this much crap. She just seems to say yes to anything, and this is another very mid sort of, I don't like that word, very average sort of streaming film from her, and I guess they just kind of decided not to waste an ounce of creativity on it since they had her, and since other Amazon Prime films would need the creativity, like... Man, that's a rough list. They don't make good ones. I feel like there's surprisingly little to actually talk about with this film. It doesn't feel the same as going into your average, like, Netflix dark thriller, but it's kind of almost got a fancier looking box without anything inside. And yet, that fancier looking box didn't really do anything for me, because at no point in seeing the poster, description, trailer, first 10 minutes, did I ever think this was going to be good. I have seen similar films like this, starring Nicole Kidman, which are much better. I know she can do much better. But the character, the script, The whole world they built around this film just felt wrong to me from the beginning. So I'm giving There Isn't a Happy Nicole Kidman Marriage in the Whole Multiverse 2.5 stars. I don't see why, especially with a talented director. I mean, Mimi Kiev made Fresh. That was her first film, and I thought, wow, amazing. That was the only point of like, I had going into this, that it might be better than I was expecting, might have more twists than I was expecting. No, this is such a dull comparative work to that. I can't believe this is the follow-up.